Elon Musk, in many ways, is a great gift to market commentators like myself because there's never a shortage of headlines about Tesla, never a shortage of interest in the topics of all things Tesla, and certainly have a very colorful man at the helm that keeps things stirred up pretty much all the time. On Tuesday morning, most of us woke up to hear the news that Musk had had another round of battles with the SEC. To summarize, we'd heard a few days ago that the corporate counsel had resigned very quickly after about 2 months on the job. So people started to wonder what's out there. And then as we find out later, that the SEC is basically trying to sanction Mr. Musk because he violated the terms of the last agreement that they had over tweeting. Basically, summarizing again, when there was the potential deal on the table for a takeover, and Mr. Musk tweeted out something to the effect of financing secured without any vetting or actually any financing being secured. That is the sort of thing the SEC really does not like. There's Regulation FD, which does allow companies to tweet material events, but they do require some sort of grounding in fact. And so to tweet out something that could easily be determined as misleading, in that case the stock shot up and then fell back when it was clear that there wasn't any financing. The SEC put in restrictions on his ability to tweet. They basically said that any tweet involving material corporate news, the sort of thing that's covered under Regulation FD, needed to be run past corporate counsel, special counsel set up to approve the tweets, basically. This is standard operating procedure at most companies. They don't just tweet willy-nilly with potentially market-moving news. In this case, it's a fairly minor, potentially technical issue. It involves some guidance about production numbers that came out during the conference call. There was one set of numbers given, then they said, well, maybe it's a higher set of numbers, and then there was a tweet addressing that, and then basically backing off the higher projection. It turns out the first of those tweets wasn't vetted under the procedures, and being combative, Elon Musk basically came at the SEC with a scathing series of tweets, scathing tweet on Tuesday morning. For most investors, this is not the kind of behavior they want to see from their CEO. On the other hand, Tesla investors are not like everybody else. I've called this in many ways a faith-based stock. There's an almost evangelical opinion about Tesla and its prospects, and they're well grounded. The cars are uniformly considered excellent, and they are doing some revolutionary things. But you have to wonder, can you run a company by yourself? History's had great entrepreneurs. History's had great managers. It's not all that common to have a great entrepreneur who is a great manager. And while I have to give him a ton of credit for basically taking this vision of an electric car company and making it the most valuable car company on earth by market cap, you do, at least in the U.S. You have to wonder. Has in some ways he outkicked his coverage? Is Mr. Musk a better entrepreneur than he is a manager? We know he's a great entrepreneur. Is it clear that he's a great manager now that the company is maturing? Remember, his first big success was PayPal. It was largely him and Peter Thiel who came up with the idea. They eventually sold it to eBay, but the interesting part about eBay was that they had entrepreneurial founders, but the company really began to thrive when they put in professional leadership under Meg Whitman. And you can see throughout Silicon Valley or any number of successful companies, there have been many cases where these great entrepreneurs, as the company got so large, brought in professional managers. There's not a lot of people who do both. As part of the SEC settlement, interestingly, they had to bring the outside board in, increase the outside board, and the person they brought in was Larry Ellison from Oracle, who is one of these guys who's proven to be a great entrepreneur and a great manager and a maverick. So we wonder what kind of outside supervision that's providing, or is it just ratify the chairman's impulses? in any event, I think it continues to be a very stirred up story, and you're going to continue to see the evangelists who love the stock battling it out with the shorts who don't.